The Solo Show is brought to you, as always, by Victor Naraki Realtor, serving Disney in the greater Orlando area with celebratingflorida.com and disneyatyourdoorstep.com. Coming up on The Solo Show.
The outside looks like it's old and all that, and one of the restaurants was actually designed by the guy that designed the Titanic.
Oh, wow.
Inside that hotel, so that was interesting fact that we learned down there.
And the restaurant, that hotel is still standing. It hasn't sunk yet.
Exactly. It didn't sink.
Stan pulls out 2 guest host chairs for Scott and Sasha Clark. They're here for a trip report. Man, it's been a while since we did one of those. That's coming up next.
I'm Realtor Victor Naraki, and I specialize in living near Disney World. I work directly with you. I'm not a referral agent. A referral agent takes your name, takes your number, and then sells you to a random agent for a stake in that commission. When you call me, you get me. And I am there for you from the initial consultation through to closing and all the steps in between. You get me. Now, if you want to reach me, visit disneyatyourdoorstep.com for all my links. And you will get me.
And when you do get Victor, tell him the Solo Show sent you. Mesdames et messieurs, it is with the deepest pride and the greatest pleasure that we invite you to pull up a chair, relax, and enjoy our little show as the Solo Studios proudly presents The Solo Show. It's our guests, they are here at our behest. In the Solo Studios, Scott and Sasha are our guests. Paris, France, not by chance that they went to London too. Now they're sitting in the guest host chair to share it all with you. Where they stayed, where they ate, and all the good times, yes, that's great. So let's get the show underway. Come on, let's start the show. We've got a ways to go. Here is Stan, he's the man. Let's start the show.
Hello and welcome to another edition of The Solo Show. I am Stan Solo as always, and we got a great show for you today, a trip report. It's been a long time since we've done one of those, so I want to welcome back to the podcast. And I don't think, Sasha, have you ever been on The Solo Show?
We talked when we went to Italy last year.
Right, but I wasn't here because I was in surgery or something, and Ken took care of it. That's right. Okay, I just think you were on. So Scott and Sasha Clark, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Stan.
Yeah. So you guys did a trip. You went to London and Paris, kind of the opposite of what I did last year, where I did Paris and London. But you didn't do this on your own. You went Adventures by Disney.
Correct. Yeah, we did. We did add on a few days, 3 days at the beginning of our trip, and then 3 days at the end of our trip where we were solely on our own.
Now, was this your first Adventures by Disney trip? It can't be because you were here for the Italy one. So
so this is our second. Yes.
So Italy was the first one, and this is your second one. So you must like them, obviously.
Yeah, I think once you do one of those Adventures by Disney, you get hooked because they take care of pretty much everything.
Yeah.
They take care of all the thinking on it.
So what is involved with an Adventures by Disney? You say that they do all the thinking on it. So they take care of all your planning, your entertainment, your meals. What else do they do?
So what they did, Stan, is literally they pick you up from the airport.
Wow.
Once you collect your bags, they're literally waiting for you, and they take you to the hotel. So once you get to the hotel, if you're there early, then they kind of leave you alone until the trip starts. Mm-hmm. In our case, that's what they did for 3 days. But once the ABD did start, that I would say probably about 75% of your meals are taken care of.
Nice.
Your breakfasts are pretty much taken care of every day because you're at the hotel. Mm-hmm. Then they take care of probably, I would say, majority of your lunches, and I would say probably 3 out of 4 dinners, because you do have some time on your own during the trip to go explore on yourself for a dinner or lunch.
Nice.
But what they do is Adventures by Disney, what they'll do is they'll take you to the tourist attractions and see this and that. And when you go into a museum, they'll handle all the tickets and do all that. They'll do, when you're on the bus rides, they'll give you snacks and waters, and that's all included in the price. So at that point, once your trip starts, with the exception of a few meals here and there, they take care of everything for you.
So you have a guide with you the whole time, I'm guessing. You have a guide with you?
Yeah, we had multiple guides with us. We had two main guides and then a local guide who also accompanied us. And so you get to get some great history, before you go in somewhere on the bus ride. The other benefit is from the Adventures by Disney is that you get early access. So you get your own rope drop to attractions, and sometimes you get special private tours that really aren't open or available to the general public, which is pretty neat. So it allows you to jam in a lot more in a day.
It sounds
So,
exhausting having to get up that early every morning.
Yeah, I would say most mornings we were up by 7:30 in the morning. They're like, "All right, our bus is leaving at 7:30, so we want you here at 7:30."
And you want to
So
eat breakfast before you go.
exactly. So you're there probably about 6:30, 6:45, eating breakfast, and
we clocked probably 25,000 steps a day.
Wow.
But yeah, it's great for the Fitbit, right?
So you need a vacation after your vacation, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So
I
you
think
got
some
in
of
early, you said, and they still picked you up at the airport even though you were there several days early?
yeah, so our trip officially started like on a Monday. So we left Thursday. By the time we landed, it was Friday morning in London,
Mhm.
and they picked us up at the airport in London on Friday morning.
Nice.
So that was essentially 3 days early that they picked us up
Yeah.
on.
So I think some of the things that Adventures by Disney does is, in addition to the tours and the meals, is they make all of the hotel arrangements. They take care of your transportation. You just need to let them know what time you're arriving. They'll even take care of the airfare for you, which is what we had them do as well, so that if there are any issues that come up, then it all goes through them. It's just one less thing for you to have to worry about.
Wow, that sounds awesome.
Yep.
So you had 3 days in London by yourself?
Yes, we did.
Well, not by yourself. I mean, Londoners were there, but without the rest
Yeah.
of the group.
Yeah.
Well, so what all did you do for those 3 days?
Oh, we did quite a bit in those 3 days. We did shopping. We went to Harrods, which is a pretty cool department store. And so that was pretty much one day where we toured around and really got familiar with where we were at, what was where we were. Our hotel was by the West End, and we found our way to Harrods. And then we also, on our way back, we did end up purchasing a hop-on, hop-off bus tour just to make sure that we were maximizing our time and could jam in as much as we could. So that was pretty fun. One day we did meet up with Lou in the podcast group there in his community one morning, and that afternoon we went to the West End, which is similar to Broadway, New York, and we saw the Harry Potter Cursed Child show, but in London it's an extended version.
So it was in two parts. So you see part one, which was like a 2.5 hour show.
Holy cow.
Then you'd have a 2 or 3 hour intermission, so you could go off and get something to eat or whatever.
Smoke them if you got them.
Yeah. Then after that, you go back for part two, which is another 2 hours. So
holy cow.
in all, the show started at 1 p.m. and I don't think we got done until about maybe 7, 8 o'clock at night.
Oh.
But it was pretty good. So if you're into the Harry Potter or whatever, yeah, it was definitely worth doing. It was pretty cool. The theaters out there, the Broadway style theaters, they're a lot smaller.
Oh.
So, it was more intimate. So that was neat. Like going to New York, you want to go try to see a Broadway show when you're there. So that's how we kind of felt when we were in London. And in the West End, the theater district was probably about a 15-minute walk from our hotel. So it was fairly close. So that's where we kind of spent most of our free time at in the evenings, because a lot of restaurants and whatnot was over in that area.
And it's close to Covent Gardens. So within walking distance from there. One of our exploratory mornings, we went to Camden Town, which is really probably more punk rockish.
Camden Park.
And we went to the market there, and that was neat too. It's just if you're familiar with Covent Gardens, then it's really more of a punk rock version of that. They have a statue of Amy Winehouse.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was neat.
Did you go to Piccadilly Circus at all?
Yes, we did. We did. In our exploration, I think on our first day, we did the hop on, hop off. We did a lot of walking ourselves. We walked Piccadilly Circus. We went to Harrods. We stumbled upon Buckingham Palace as we were trying to find our next hop on, hop off stop. So really, really a lot of fun. Saw some great things in those days. What else I think those were the highlights from our 3 days.
Before our Adventures by Disney started.
Yeah.
That was the highlight of that.
So your Adventures by Disney, you mentioned that you met up with Lou from WDW Radio. So this was actually a WDW Radio trip with sponsored by, well, you had to book through MEI and Melstran Travel.
Correct.
That's kind of how I got to meet Scott, was on a WDW trip on the Star Wars cruise on a Disney ship. So that's how if you ever get an opportunity to do a group trip like that, that's the way to do it, I always say. You agree?
Well, and that was the thing too, is doing this ABD trip being our second one. We ran into friends from the previous trip that we did in Italy and on some of the previous cruises.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the benefit of doing this through the WDW essentially family.
Yeah.
The group, and you get to know people, so you're not going in there as total strangers. I would say we probably knew at least half of them already, so that was very comforting, and you just become better friends by doing it.
Yeah, I know you guys are posting your pictures on Facebook, or some other people from the group were, and it's like, I know half the people in that photo.
Exactly.
I cruised with them or something.
Yeah.
So I guess we kind of know where to. So this takes you to London and then to London and then to Paris. So how many days total was the ABD part of it?
It was 8 days, 7 nights. So it started on Monday and then it ended on the following Monday.
So which hotel did you start off in London?
So we started at the Kempton Fitzroy Hotel?
Mm-hmm.
And that was right behind the British Museum in that area, if you're familiar of London and where the British Museum is at.
So is it like a old museum, or is it a hotel, or is it new?
The outside looks like it's old and all that, and one of the restaurants was actually designed by the guy that designed the Titanic.
Oh, wow.
Inside that hotel. So that was interesting fact that we learned down there. And
it's still standing.
It was a very nice hotel.
And the restaurant, that hotel is still standing. It hasn't sunk yet.
Exactly. It didn't sink.
Yeah.
It did not sink. Yeah. So, it was roomy. Great bathroom. It was nice. I very traditional looking hotel. So
yeah. And those rooms, as you probably know, those rooms in Europe, those hotels, they're generally a little bit smaller than the American hotels.
Yeah.
They're not as spacious, but it was still comfortable.
So with a large group, if you guys are going, like, say, to Buckingham Palace or something like that, how do you travel? Is it all in one bus, or?
Yeah, so it was all in one bus that we would take over there. Now, when we kind of started doing some tours, we get let me see, when we did a underground subway tour, and they broke our group up in two. So there was our group consisted about 36 people.
Okay.
So they broke it up in two. So it kind of spread it out, so you're not taking all this room up with a giant group.
Mm-hmm.
So generally when we had to do like museums or stuff like that, they would split it up in two groups.
So what did you do? So you did the underground tour.
Yeah.
What else was there?
Oh gosh, we did. We saw the crown jewels.
Oh yeah.
We went for a private guided tour of the Tower of London.
Yeah, and that was very neat. I thought that was my highlight of London, was doing that day.
Mm-hmm.
We'd seen the Tower of London, got to see the crown jewels before they opened up to the general public. So we got to go in there, see it with just our group. Then after we got done seeing the crown jewels, they gave us about an hour to go off on our own just to see what we wanted to see on that, because there was so much to see in the Tower of London.
Yeah. You go into the animal room where they had the monkeys and all that hanging, and and they had
Oh,
No, we
no,
didn't go in
didn't
there.
see
We went
that.
into I think it's called the White Tower. It's where they had their armory at.
okay, yeah.
So all the Knights of the Round Table with their armor and all that type
Mhm.
of stuff, that was in there with cannons and axes and stuff. And I thought that was really cool because growing up, that's what I pictured ancient London to be like,
Yeah.
King Arthur and the Round Table type stuff. So that was neat seeing all that.
Did you find
After that, oh,
oh,
sorry.
sorry, I was gonna say, did you find the restroom, the original potty, as it were,
Oh,
in the castle?
I
No,
don't so.
they pointed us in a different bathroom to go to. That was more probably
Well, you're
easier
not supposed to
accessible.
use it, but yeah. No, there's actually,
Yeah.
because I guess
All right.
it was just open air, and you would sit, and it would just go outside, and it kind of
Oh
would
my
a ledge
goodness.
that sat out of the out of the castle. Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
we got some
That is great.
fun
That
pictures
is
in
too
there.
funny. Oh, and now that the wired animal
Yes,
is
yeah,
coming back, I had forgot. Yeah, we
yeah.
went to a restroom. The marker was a wired
Yeah, yeah. So you had all those wired
animal.
animals
Yes,
throughout the
yes.
whole tower. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that morning we ended that morning with a high speed boat ride on the
Mm-hmm.
River Thames, and so
On the Thames.
oh, sorry, the Thames. But that was really super super cool. You want to
And
talk
I
about
think
that?
that would have been something that if we'd have did London on our own, we would have probably never even thought about taking a speedboat tour down the Thames River.
Yeah, yeah.
So they broke our group up into 3 groups because those boats consisted, I think, of 12 people each. And so, we're going down the Thames, they're pointing out all the landmarks and stuff like that. Then I think once we passed, like Parliament and all that, he jumped on it. Then as soon as he punched it, he played the James Bond theme song.
Awesome.
So now, anytime I ever hear that song or watch a James Bond movie, that memory's going to come up now on being on that speedboat ride.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he was jumping the wakes. He was letting the other boats get in front of him, kind of jumping the wakes and doing all that. It was a blast.
Oh, wow.
That was, like I said, it was one of the highlights right there doing that.
Yeah.
It's something that I would have never thought about doing or even experienced being in London.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
pretty fun.
when I went, the last thing I was thinking of doing was a high speed boat ride in the.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think that's one of the benefits of like the Adventures by Disney is they mix in some of that stuff that you would never think about doing. Because another instance, what we did in London, we went to Hampton Court and Windsor Castle. Then right after that, we did archery.
Mm.
They taught us to shoot some, play with the bow and arrows and all that, and got to do all that fun stuff. So that was pretty cool doing that. It was a lot funner than I thought it would be.
Were they like modern day bows, or were they like 16th
No,
century,
they were older bows.
like a
Yeah.
single string regular bow that you
Yeah,
picture a cartoon
exactly.
character holding? Okay.
What you see the Indians back in the day would probably use something
Yeah.
up to that effect.
Oh, that's neat. Would you
Yeah.
say this be strenuous for some people to do? Like, how strenuous would this
Which
be?
oh,
The
you
whole.
need to be able to be fit enough to do some serious walking. There are some accommodations that can be made. We did have someone in our group who had some walking limitations, was in a wheelchair
A scooter.
Mm-hmm.
and so they seemed to have maneuvered fine. And there were a couple other people who needed elevators, maybe not so many stairs.
Yeah.
But you need to have the stamina enough because. So we did that. Then we, and this is still the day one, we went to a pub and had an awesome meal. That was really fun. Obviously, you got to have some fish and chips. Or
Oh, I was going to ask that if you got fish and
yeah,
chips at all.
shepherd's pie or,
Yeah.
fingers and mash. Got to have that good stuff. But then that afternoon, we went to St. Paul's Cathedral for another private guided tour. So
that's where Princess Diana and Prince Charles was married way back when.
Yeah, those churches out there are just unbelievable.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
And those were the steps, weren't they? And Mary Poppins. And the bird scene with the old lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we did Buckingham Palace. And then we also did, we went to the underground. We got underground tour of the underground, which is really
of the subway,
Yeah.
And this was one of the first times they actually did this on ABD. This was like the first time they did it. So it was pretty neat. It was something that I didn't expect it to be. So they would take us into the subway, the underground, and show we got in there, and then they literally took us into another abandoned subway tunnel.
Okay.
and they, like I said, they broke up the group in two and showed us inside where the track was and all that. And a lot of times, if you ever see a movie where they have subways and this and that, odds are they probably filmed it there.
Oh, cool.
They said they filmed some James Bond stuff there, Jason Bourne movie,
Mission Impossible.
yeah, Mission Impossible, and a lot of TV series. So that was pretty cool, actually, being able to see that and do it. And when you're standing in this abandoned railway tunnel, if you look down, you can see another subway go by. You're standing on this grate.
Oh, wow.
And the train would go by, and you could feel the gush of air coming up through the grate. Or if you looked up in another spot, you could see the street above.
Oh, get out. That'd be cool.
The outside. So yeah, it was pretty interesting and cool to be able to see that.
Well, I'm glad they took you in an abandoned one, so you didn't have to like press your back against the wall when the train went. It's like, everybody up against the wall. The train's coming.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Poor
think
lady
we
in
would
a
have been in
scooter trying to
trouble
go.
doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just getting back to ABD, you said the meals were included, or most of the meals were. Is alcohol included with those meals, or is that you pay for yourself?
We had some meals. We had a lunch at the Eiffel Tower. There was probably 3 or 4 times in which alcohol was included when we went to the pub for lunch. It was included then. Eiffel Tower, it was included.
I would say like most of your
maybe 4
meals that you
times.
did it, like the evening meals and some of the lunches, they would pay for like a round of like drinks. Like when we went to the pub, they go, you want Guinness or cider or whatever, they would pay for a round of that. For dinner, they would walk around and give you wine if you wanted the wine and stuff like that. So they took care of the majority of it in some of those places that we went to.
Yeah.
Like if you went to breakfast, if you wanted mimosa or something like that, you'd probably have to pay for that. But I don't think we ever decided to do any of that part of it. But they generally took care of, like for drinks, like cocktails and stuff, like one round of that. But it seemed like if you wanted the wine and stuff, they would give it to you a few times.
Yeah. You got to have champagne when you're on the Eiffel Tower. Like really.
I know. That's right. How do you not?
Now, I heard that they used to do, I'm not sure if they still do or not, did they give you a pin every day?
Yes, we did. We got a pin every day. Some days, 2 pins.
No, it was just 1 pin each day. Like when we went to Italy, they mailed us all the pins beforehand last year. And I think a lot of that had to do because of the COVID restrictions just coming off that. But this go around, they gave us a pin every day we were there. And you didn't know when you were going to get it. Sometimes it was after a certain function that you did, or maybe at dinner or something to that effect. And like even the day we left, they gave us a pin.
Nice.
So that was pretty neat.
What do you prefer? Do you prefer to have them mailed to you so you don't have to worry about losing them or anything, or do you prefer to get them at the end of the day? Or
I'd rather have it mailed instead of have to worry. But I know, like a lot of people in the group, they liked getting it, surprised during the day while you were there. But personally, I would have just rather had them mailed it to us and not have to worry about it.
How about you, Sasha?
It was nice to get them while we were there because it meant more, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, we just finished whatever and we got a pin. Like, it just gave it more meaning. So not as practical, but more meaning.
That's all I'm picturing. I think I'd rather get them at the event or during the day or something, or at your meal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most of the time you like totally forget you were going to get a pin. All of a sudden, there's like, hey guys, this is what we did and this is what this pin symbolizes. Then they gave it to you.
Nice. So how did you get, was there anything else in London you wanted to touch on before we moved to Paris?
No, I think we talked about, you mentioned Hampton Court, the archery, Windsor. We went to Nando's, so if anyone is out in London, that's certainly a popular chicken joint.
Okay.
It was really tasty. So it's quick and easy, but really good. So
how was the fish and chips compared to Epcot at the fish and chip stand versus London?
Compared to Rose and Crown?
Yeah.
I had my fair share of fish and chips out there. I think I had it 3 times while I was out there.
Yeah.
It was good,
Fish and chips.
Yeah, it's fish and chips.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I found the same thing. It's like I liked it just as much, the fish and chips in London, as I did at Epcot. It was pretty comparable, really. Mm-hmm. I'm sure people from London are screaming at me right now that as they're listening to this from the UK. What do you mean? Ours are better. So how did you travel to Paris from
So we took we took the Channel and then we took the Eurostar, and we got to actually sit in business class.
Oh, nice.
So we sat in business class and we took the Eurostar from London to Paris, and that was fun. It was neat, you know. You get daylight, the next thing you know, you're in a tunnel for, I don't know, what, 45 minutes, half hour,
Like
hour.
that, yeah. So what
And
does
that goes
business class
quick.
have that? Because when I did the Eurostar, I'm pretty sure I didn't pick business class, but we had a table and chairs.
No, you just had wider seats. You had like a food service to you that was included. So we did it in the morning. So we had a breakfast. You know, they gave you some juice or coffee and like a pastry and some like a fruit cup or something to that
Okay.
effect. And it was all included. So it was good. You know, me and Sasha sat together and we sat in the table across from another couple that was from the group.
Nice.
So it was enjoyable. It was fun. It was pretty cool to go underneath the English Channel and, you know.
Yeah. And now that I think about it, I think the Eurostar, when I was on, that's all they had was business class, if I recall.
From what I understand on the one that we did, it was they had coach, business class, and I want to say maybe even first class.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Because it was really neat. I got to say that when I did that from Paris to London, it was amazing. So what in London? Did you stay in the same? Sorry, I meant to ask that before we got to Paris. But did you stay in the same room in London the whole time?
yeah. So when we got to London, we stayed in the same hotel the whole time. So when we got to London prior to the group starting, we got with Adventures by Disney because they do want you to get there like at least a day early.
Yeah.
So, because, you know, they don't want people to show up the day of in case there's complications with your flights and stuff like that. So they don't want you to miss anything. So I would say the majority of the people got there 2 days prior to the trip, but we got there 3 days, and we got with our travel agent and she got with Adventures by Disney to make sure it was okay and they had a room available for us to stay there for the extra days.
Okay.
So we stayed at the same hotel that time. And same thing with Paris on the ABD side of it. We stayed in the same hotel there also.
And which
when we got
hotel
to
did you stay
Paris.
in Paris, and whereabouts kind of in the city was it?
It was the Hotel Collection or something to that. It was a fancier Paris name to it.
Oh yeah, Hotel du Collectionnaire.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm making everybody cringe, but it was very nice.
And it was about a 10-minute walk from the Arc Triumph.
Okay, yeah.
So it was about 10-minute walk from there. So it was really close to that, and where all the shops are, right in there in that area.
There's a Disney store not too far from that Arc. If you
You know, we didn't see it when we were out there. We walked that one. We walked that street. What's that street called? The
Chandelier-Maurice. It's
Yeah.
like that same street. Just it has the shopping.
Yeah.
All of the shopping.
We
on
didn't.
it.
We didn't see.
that.
We didn't see the Disney store. But
there's
you know,
the Five Guys, and then right across from the Five Guys, there's a Disney store.
Oh,
So you
yeah,
might have
we
went
definitely
the
seen
other
the
direction,
Five
perhaps.
Guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
the Disney store.
Yeah, I think we were looking for Olympic memorabilia
Yeah.
since the Olympics was getting ready to be there, because we found a couple stores there and stopped in there and bought some Olympic memorabilia stuff.
Oh, cool. What else did you get? Hats and stuff, or?
Bought some shirts, bought some trading pins, and a couple keychains for the nieces and nephews.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Olympics are coming soon. I can hardly wait. So you mentioned that you had the Eiffel Tower. I'm assuming you took the elevator, not the stairs.
We took the elevator to the first floor, and then we took the stairs. We did, I forget however many flights to the second floor. We did do the stairs.
Oh, that was challenging to walk up to that second floor.
It was.
Sasha thought I was running those stairs, but I was just walking.
Super slow.
Yeah.
And so where was like I saw the pictures of you guys having dinner or champagne or something?
Yeah,
It was
it was
lunch.
lunch. So we had lunch in there. That was on the first floor.
Okay. Oh, well, no wonder
it
you
was
couldn't do the stairs after you ate.
Yes, I know. We didn't think about that, did we? Yeah. So it was, first floor there. And so that was great. And then after that, we got to do some macaroon making.
Oh,
So-
wow. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So that was really fun. at a cooking school, so I think we had a chef, pastry chef, and so that was really fun. And then we made the macaroons, and then we had a little party with teas and coffees and champagne, of course, along with our macaroons. So that was really fun.
Yep.
It was another thing that we would not have done.
Yeah.
On our own. We've eaten many of them, but not made any.
Yeah.
So
I went to the McDonald's and I had macaroons at the McDonald's.
Oh, they had macaroons
in Paris.
at
Yeah,
McDonald's.
yeah. And so I had to get some.
Wow.
Yeah. And they make
How
it
did that
in the
how did that
McDonald's. So
compare?
sorry, go ahead.
How did those macaroons taste?
They were
at
really good,
McDonald's?
actually. They had a little separate kitchen that they were making the macaroons, and that's all they did was make macaroons.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That is great. Yeah. Now if Scott knows how to make macaroons, he's going to get busy this weekend. Getting his skills to.
Yeah, I
to
don't
All
think
the kids are getting for Halloween this year is
Yeah,
macaroons.
yeah. I'll give macaroons out to all the kids.
So where else? So you did the Eiffel Tower macaroons.
Tower, yeah, macaroons. That night we had a dinner cruise on the
On the Seine River.
Mhm.
which was really cool. So to see the Eiffel Tower sparkle at night, and that was really pretty. But then the next day we went to the Louvre. So we spent the first half of the day at the Louvre, and then we had a private guided tour at the Opera Garnier. So where the Phantom of the Opera
Oh, okay.
originated. Yes.
Then we got to have lunch. Right before that, we had lunch. We walked around the Notre Dame Cathedral.
Mhm.
Couldn't go into it because it's not open yet. It's still under refurbishment or the repairs from the fire.
Mhm.
But we got to walk around there and had lunch on our own and got some gelato over by there. So we had about an hour and a half to kind of explore right around over in that area, which is pretty neat. And they had a little store. It was a Shakespeare bookstore.
Okay.
So if you'd bought something from there, they would stamp it. That was one of their big things. They would stamp the book. So
Yeah, Ile St. Louis is a little island. You just cross a bridge, which we did, which was by Notre Dame. Have wonderful gelato. It's a cute little quaint town. Things, very postcard,
Yeah.
picturesque, which was neat. So yeah. So that was a
That's
busy
what
day too.
That's what I love about Paris is you could just kind of walk around and bump into stuff or explore and find stuff. There was a little kiosk on the side of the river, and there was a guy selling all these books and whatnot, and they had Donald Duck comic books in French. So
Oh, how fun!
yeah, so of course I had to
Get
buy
some-
those.
Of course.
Well, and that was the thing, when you're in London and Paris, we did so much, but we barely scratched the surface of seeing everything that it has to offer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, and then that last day we went to Versailles. Chateau, we were able to have a tour of that. That was great too. We had lunch there, and then we went to the gardens and
the Ventures by Disney. After that, they allow you to rent they give you a bicycle. You could do a bicycle around the gardens with the group. Me, Sasha, and I, and another couple, and a few other couples, we rented golf carts. Just so we could see more, and because those gardens were just humongous and or just large, and then they had some other buildings that were there. Marie Antoinette
cottage,
her cottage, and some other stuff. So we took the golf carts and kind of explored and see some stuff.
Yeah, see as much as we could, but it really turned into look, kids, Big Ben, Parliament. It was pretty quick. We had to get our golf carts back.
Yeah, they squeezed a lot in those 8 days.
Yeah.
It's funny because you're saying you did the bicycle. They had the choice of the bicycle trip through the gardens. I'm thinking to myself, oh man, I would just love to do that. That would be so cool. But we took a golf cart instead.
Yeah, I think we were planning to do that, and then we just changed our mind at the last minute.
Yeah.
Did the golf cart, tried to squeeze in as much as we could. So
for the ABD part, Paris, you were in the same hotel at the same time. You did, was it last year you did Italy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, last March.
So now you've done the Italy one, and now you've done the Paris and London one. If you're going to advise somebody to take one, which one would you tell them to go take?
That's
Italy.
like trying to say who's your favorite kid.
Oh yeah.
They're all special.
My bucket list was doing London and Paris, and I guess on the third on the list was Italy.
Mm-hmm.
But Italy was amazing. If I had to pick, if I had to do another one over again, I'd probably say I want to do Italy over again.
It seems like Italy was less strenuous, like or like less go like this.
No, it was about the
Yeah, it was
same.
Yeah.
about the
Okay.
same.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
went to Rome and Florence, to Umbro, so also to Tuscany and
Oh yeah. So that was a
Venice.
lot you're doing there too.
Yeah,
Then yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and then there, I think from Rome to Tuscany, we took a bus, and like from when we left Tuscany/Florence, we took a high-speed train to go to Venice.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably the same getting around and all that. It was just so much to do. But that being said, Rome and Paris is beautiful too.
Yeah.
I mean, London and Paris is beautiful and amazing, and all the history and the architecture. And I thought going into this, I thought I would enjoy London better, but Paris, there was just something about Paris was amazing.
See, I agree with you completely. I was the exact same way. I thought, oh, I'm gonna like the only reason for me to go to Paris was because I wanted to go to Disneyland Paris. That was the only reason.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I had zero interest in seeing Paris. But my gosh, I completely fell in love with that city. Like it was.
Well, and that was funny on our ABD. We had an introduction dinner with everybody the first night we got into London for ABD, and that's what they asked everybody in the beginning. What are your highlights? What are you looking forward to? And one of the couples from the group is like Disneyland Paris, and it's like, well, that's not actually part of the ABD
Yeah, I
part.
kind of hate those Brutus.
But I want to say, I thought everybody from our group actually decided to spend a few extra days at Disneyland Paris
Yeah.
too after that.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you're
that's
far.
go ahead.
I was just said you're that far,
Yeah.
And
Maybe
you're
we'll
so
go the distance.
yeah, you're that close. You have to see it. If you're a Disney fan by doing Adventures by Disney, you got to go to Disney Paris while
It
you're
shocks me that they don't include it or they don't have
Yeah,
that as
I
an
was
add-on.
surprised too. Yeah, I mean, you could add it on, but there wasn't anything, I think, above and beyond for the price, and so most people did it on the.
Yeah.
There were some people who wanted the convenience, to not have to do the few things that we had to do, which was decide which hotel, figure out our transportation,
Mm-hmm.
and a few other things. But
Yeah, because I think I was reading it that they do offer that, and you can get like the full board, which gives you, I think, 2 meals a day or something like that. Or
Yeah, you got a full board and a half board.
yeah. So let's talk a little bit. Was there anything else in Paris you wanted to touch on?
I don't think so, Scott. What about you?
No, there was a lot to do, and
Yeah.
still wasn't able to do it all.
Did you run
So
across
what
like
did
any of
you
those
love about
scammers or
Paris?
panhandlers or anything like that?
That being no, it was very clean when we was out there.
Mm.
I don't know if that had to do because they were getting ready to start the Olympics out there.
Oh yeah.
I think that was one of the differences that we noticed is going around and seeing a lot of this stuff. They were prepping a lot of Paris for the Olympics.
Yeah.
So you got to see some of the buildings being decorated for Olympics. You got to see some of the stands going up and some of the venues. Like being at Versailles, I guess that's where they were going to do some of the equestrian stuff for the horses at Versailles. So that was like an added on bonus, seeing some of that stuff out there that's going to be there for the Olympics. But cleanliness or panhandlers, I don't think I noticed. I think I seen one person doing panhandling out there, and he was literally standing on his head for like 15 minutes just to try to get some money.
Yeah.
But other than that, I was impressed. I thought it was clean. It was nice. The only thing I would say that it surprised me, but it didn't surprise Sasha. I couldn't believe all the people that were smoking out there and vaping. It seemed like that was everywhere you go.
That's so weird because when I went, I only saw one person smoking the entire time I was in Paris. Because people were telling me that, and the same thing. I thought it was incredibly clean when I went to Paris. I didn't find. I did have with a couple of scam artists that try to get you to follow them, and I had that a couple of times. Maybe because you were with a tour group, they don't leave you guys alone.
Yeah, and I know it with being with ABD, they kind of forewarned us about like people trying to sell you something or do whatever, but I didn't experience any of it, and I think they kind of hushed it off a little bit. If someone tried to come up to the group, they kind of brushed them off, so didn't have to experience it.
So then after that, you went to Disneyland Paris. I'm assuming you just took the train.
No, we did. We actually had a private car pick us up from our hotel and drove us to Disneyland Paris, and we stayed at the New York Marvel Hotel.
Nice.
So I want to say that was probably about like an hour drive from our hotel to Disneyland Paris. But no, we had a car that picked us up and took us there and dropped us off.
Okay.
So we did.
So how many days were you in Disneyland Paris? Paris?
3. We did 3
Essentially
days.
3 full days.
Yeah.
We got there on a Monday, then we left Thursday early morning.
So, I mean, like Disney Studios, Walt Disney Studios is basically a half-day park. I don't think too many people would.
Yeah, I would say it's probably even less than a half-day park. They were doing a lot of remodeling there.
Yeah.
So like as soon as you walked in, it was like
Walls.
all these walls up everywhere, and you like walk down this corridor to go to like the Tower of Terror or Avengers Campus.
Yeah.
Then that was on the left, and on the right you go to Toy Story area, Pixar, and Ratatouille, and all that on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of all it has, really. I mean, it has the drone show at night, which is amazing. I'm not sure if they're doing it still.
No, so we
Yes.
got there on Monday. When we got there on Monday, my intention wasn't to go to the park on Monday. It was more to check out the downtown Disney, which is called, I think, Disney Village.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just do some shopping and eat and kind of relax in our room because we were go. But our room wasn't ready. So, and their Disney Village is pretty small,
Hmm.
to say the least. I would say it's smaller than Disneyland in Anaheim.
Pretty close. Yeah.
And so we decided to go to Disneyland, the park. We went there and
I have to laugh,
checked it
Scott,
all
because
out.
it's the same thing you and I did when we went to California together. We didn't have any plan to go to Disneyland, but we ended up buying tickets anyways.
Exactly. That's exactly how it was,
It's
Stan.
his default.
But I tell you what, walking into Disneyland Paris, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. That has to be by far the best castle
Yeah.
that I've seen. Granted, this is my third one only seeing,
Hmm.
but seeing pictures of the other castles, this one tops the list. It's beautiful. The walking down Main Street, it seemed like all the colors popped even more. It was more vibrant. It was more had that Victorian look to the buildings and stuff like that. Disneyland Paris is a beautiful park.
Hmm. No, I agree completely.
I was impressed.
It's so amazing, the Disneyland Paris park. What was your favorite attraction?
Mine was Big Thunder Mountain.
Really? Okay.
I liked Mystic Manor.
Yeah.
That was cool. We did that a couple times. Hyperspace Mountain was closed.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a bummer. But I would say at Disneyland Paris, that particular park, I would have to say Big Thunder Mountain. That was pretty cool.
How about you, Sasha?
It was neat.
Yeah, I liked the what was the haunted mansion? What's it called?
Mystic Manor.
Mystic Manor.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. And Big Thunder Mountain was pretty cool too. But I really enjoyed Mystic. But both of them, we went on those a couple of times. So I think we were disappointed in the Indiana Jones
Roller coaster?
roller coaster.
Roller coaster?
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of, was it Kingdom? The Goofy roller coaster.
But it does do a loop, though.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does
it
do
does
loop.
loop.
But I walked in there and I was like, oh, cool, this is Indiana Jones. And I was like, where's the Indiana Jones at? The only time I noticed Indiana Jones is after we got off the ride and walked through the little store area that was selling Indiana Jones stuff.
And that little store
The
here is
gift shop.
smaller than my closet at home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the only thing that I noticed of it being Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I had high hopes for it, and I was kind of,
Yeah.
it was one and done for me on that ride.
What other rides did we do there? We did Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean was pretty cool.
Mhm.
I like that. We did Star Tours.
That's right. We saw some.
Yeah,
new
we've
ones.
seen some new scenes on that one
Yeah.
with
That was
Ahsoka.
pretty.
Okay. When I went,
Mhm.
Small World was closed for refurbishments. I think it's open.
Yeah, we did Small World. That was pretty good. It's different than what it is here in the States at Disney World and Disneyland, I thought.
Similar, but yeah, different. I liked it.
Yeah.
It was yeah.
Then we went to Peter Pan's Flight.
Hmm.
That's a little different too, but I enjoyed it.
Hmm.
Did you do the Labyrinth from Alice in Wonderland?
No, didn't do it. We walked by it and seen it. I didn't want to go through the maze, especially with Sasha. She would probably get lost in it, so we didn't go in there.
I gotta say, from the outside, it doesn't look like much, but I figured, well, I'm going to try it anyways because some people told me that you have to do it. It was so much fun, just kind of running around and just kind of running into the same people and over again. Like, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was so cool.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
That is fun. Missed opportunity on our part.
Oh,
but
the
yeah.
reason to go back now.
That's right. It is. It is.
But we did get it that night, though. We did the fireworks show.
Hmm.
I wasn't impressed with the fireworks show, but the drone show right before it, oh my gosh, that was amazing. That was worth waiting for that. That was one of my big goals on this trip, on the Disneyland Paris part of it, to see the drone show.
I think you're
And
currently doing the Main Street Electrical Parade as a drone show, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what the drone show was the electrical parade.
Yeah.
The electrical parade in the sky or something. I
Yeah,
think that's
yeah.
what it was called.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool. You know, you think it's just the lights in there and all that, but they had like the drones as a train.
Mm-hmm.
And literally the train was smoking as it was going over the castle. Then they had like Captain Hook's boat, pirate ship, and they had sparks shooting out of the back of it. So it was neat.
Yeah, I'd never seen that when I was there. They didn't have any pyrotechnics on the drones. That's something that they added just this
And
year.
I think we did that on the first night, and it was probably a good thing because I know most of our group tried to see it on Tuesday night and Wednesday night, and I think one of the nights they had technical difficulties on it, and another night it wasn't going either. So
Yeah.
so we got lucky by doing it the first night.
It's crazy what they have though, because they got the water show in the front, they got the projections on the castle, they got the fireworks going, and they got the drones flying over it. What's next? Like,
I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but if you go to try to see the fireworks, they were pretty small. There wasn't no loud bangs or anything,
okay.
explosions. The fireworks show itself was small,
Mhm.
but
I
as
enjoyed
a
it.
whole,
Yeah.
it was good. The drone show, the projection show on the castle, the water fountains in front of the castle, and the music and all that. It was good.
Where all did you
That's
eat? Did you do any table service at Disney?
We ate at a
We
pub in the Disney Village, and it was pub fare. It was fine.
Okay.
Earl of Sandwich, we ate there
That
one
was
day.
really
Okay.
good.
We did eat at Walt's at
Okay, yeah.
Disneyland
I was going to
Paris.
ask you if you went to Waltz.
Yeah, it was good. We liked it. It was good. It was pretty neat be going in there and seeing all the artwork that was in there and all that. And the food was pretty good.
From what I was told, it's like the closest you'll get to Club 33 without going to Club 30 is the Walt Disney restaurant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the memorabilia.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. We ate at the hotel for dinner one night. It was, what was it, Manhattan or
Yeah, downtown Manhattan or
And,
something.
yeah, and that was pretty good. It was Italian, and that was good. But before that, we went to the bar, which, what was it called? But it was like
Oh, it was like Avenger theme, so it had kind of like
Star Wars Lounge
on the Disney Wish, where they got the screens in the
Oh,
background
okay.
where you can
Yeah.
see the ships taking
Yeah.
off and stuff like that, the space scene. So that's what they have at the Marvel Hotel. They have a lounge in there that
It's like the sky. It's like
skyline of New York with Avenger Tower in the background.
So you like
got to
Tony
see
Stark, the Iron Man would fly by once in a while type of thing, or
Yes,
yeah, you would see the
Spider-Man.
Quinjet go by,
Oh,
and
cool.
we've seen the Quinjet go by a couple times in Spider-Man,
Yeah, that
but
was
no,
pretty fun.
Iron Man.
no
though.
Iron Man. Oh, you missed an opportunity. You could have
I
a
know,
film go
yeah.
on. I know. I'm only one
Yeah.
man. I can't design everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that sounds like an amazing trip you guys had.
it was. It
what-
was great.
Anything you want to mention before we pass this off to Ken?
I would say probably, we talked about Disneyland Paris rides, but Walt Studios, probably by far my favorite ride was the Tower of Terror.
Okay.
Yeah, and so the little girl in the Twilight is focus in the Tower of Terror there at Walt Studios, and it just was that much more interesting, and it was great. I thought
Yeah,
it was really fun.
the Tower of Terror was by far, I think, my favorite ride at Disney Studios.
Mhm.
That's
We did do Remy's,
Mhm.
but I would say the Remy ride at Epcot was by far hands over better than the one in Paris.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the one in Paris wasn't 3D. There were some effects that they didn't have in it.
Okay, because
I was kind of disappointed in the one in Paris.
Because I found the one in Paris went faster than the one in Epcot, the cars itself,
Yeah, I think the cars do go a little bit faster.
which
Yeah.
wasn't good for my stomach. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like the rides are just a touch bit faster, right?
Yeah.
In Paris than, yeah.
We did Flight Force, which used to be the Rock and Roller Coaster.
okay.
So it was Flight Force. It's Avenger themed, so it had Iron Man in there and Captain Marvel. It was based on those two guys, so that was pretty neat.
That's cool. Yeah, and I don't think they have the Spider-Man show there either.
I didn't notice the Spider-Man show, but
Yeah.
they do have web slingers there.
Yes.
That ride.
Yeah, they do have web slingers.
But overall, Disneyland Paris, I was glad we went. I was really impressed with it. I know at Disney Studios, they're building a Frozen land out there.
Hmm.
I want to say I think that opens up maybe late next year, if I'm not mistaken. So,
And then they're
be
redoing
curious to see
their
that.
entrance as well, which is all boarded
Yeah.
up right now.
Yeah, if it wasn't for a couple rides at the studios, that'd be almost a park that I would say don't get the park hopper, just stay at Disneyland Paris.
They still have the Catastrophe Canyon there, which
Yeah, we didn't go on that ride. I know a couple of the couple went and they enjoyed it, but they said it was really quick.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was long or anything. It was like quick.
Yeah, but it was cool to actually see that whole scene again that you used to be at Hollywood Studios that you can't experience anymore. It was neat to see that again, where the oil tanker comes off the thing and the fireballs go and all the water comes rushing.
Yeah, they were saying it's cars based.
Yeah.
Instead of like the semi and all that, it was more cars themed, as the movie Cars theme on it.
Yeah, I think it had the Dinoco gas.
Yeah, Dinoco.
Yeah. Well, this was great. I want to thank you two for coming on. Any plans for your next Adventures by Disney?
We
have to pay for this one. Finish paying for this one. So.
We have one that we put a deposit down to do the Sin River tour late next fall, I think, September, October of 2025. Okay. We're doing the Sin River cruise.
In France?
Yeah, so it's an Adventures by Disney river cruise.
Oh, wow.
It goes to Normandy.
Goes to Normandy and stops at all the towns and cities on there. So as of right now, that's the plan, but a lot of things could happen in the next year and a half, so we'll see.
Yeah, that sounds like a cool one. I'd love to do that. Pretty amazing. Alrighty, Ken, it's up to you now. Take it away.
If you have a brilliant idea for a future edition of The Solo Show and would like to take your turn in the guest host's chair, then drop us an email at thesoloshow01@gmail.com. Tell us your idea for the show, and we'll contact you about a date and a time for you to join us. If you would just like to keep the conversation going or have a comment about a previous show, then visit us on Facebook at The Solo Show. All logos, sounds, and songs that are made by and for Disney and its affiliates are owned solely by the Disney Corporation and are not, nor are they intended to be, the ownership of The Solo Show podcast. We hope you'll join us for the next adventure on The Solo Show. Thanks for listening, and bye for now.